What's up, everyone? I got this old Craftsman here. A friend wanted it out of their yard. They just gave it to me. It sat for like 3 or 4 years after the battery died. I drug it home, hooked my mower to it. It turned over enough for me to get locked. Threw some gas in it. It didn't start. Sprayed some starting fluid in it. Fired off of that. Carburetor's no good. I tested for power. It has one of them solenoids in it for the plunger that pulls down. It's got 12 volts to the plug, but normally on these, when you turn the key, you can hear them click and you can feel them if you hold on to them when you turn the key, and this one wasn't doing nothing. So I ordered a cheap carburetor kit for it on Amazon for like 30 bucks. Comes with fuel line and spark plug and everything. I'm gonna throw that on it. I don't think I'm gonna make this mow again. I might pulley swap it and have some fun with it. I've never done that before. So if any of you guys out there have any recommendations of like pulleys and belts and stuff, hit me up in the comments. That would be cool. A little update on the wagon. It's very slow going. I finally got fed up with the state that the garage was in because it was just a mess. So I cleaned everything, put all my tools away. It's looking a lot better in here now. This is still a slow, very slow process. I'm still working on cleaning the engine so I can get some paint on it. I'm getting close. I got these little brushes because the main dirty areas are right around the freeze plugs. So I figured this would really help get that clean. So that's where I'm at on this. I'm hoping to get it cleaned up soon. I've been working on it in the evenings a little bit. Like the other night when I cleaned the garage, I was down here. I got home at like 7 o'clock. I was down here until like midnight just because I couldn't take it anymore. There was just tools everywhere. It was like, couldn't find nothing. Turning around, walking in circles, trying to find tools. So got the workbench all nice and cleaned up. Threw a bunch of crap away. Put all my tools away. Wiped them off. Still a couple tools laying here and there. But much, much better. Got to bag up some bolts and label them. But that's where we're at on that. So see you guys later. So I have to take the engine cover off this thing to get the carburetor off anyway. It looks like I'm going to have to clean under there because that looks like a fire waiting to happen. It looks like a little critter, probably a mouse, built a nest up in there. So we're going to have to get that all cleaned out. We'll see what it looks like when I get that cover off. All right, let's see what's under this cover. Oh, nice. All right, I cleaned most of the mouse nest out of it by hand, but we're going to have to get the leaf blower out, and I'll blow the rest of the hantavirus out of it with that. All right, we got the fire hazard all cleaned out of it. It's looking pretty good. Definitely going to have to pull this valve cover off and reseal it if I plan on running this thing a lot, because it looks like it's been leaking for quite some time. Very common problem with these Briggs Intex. They RTV them on from the factory and they set right over top of the muffler. So that bottom likes to fail first. You just got to clean it up and re-RTV it. They sell gasket kits, but I ain't buying one for this. I'm not trying to put a bunch of money into it. Pretty solid engines. Really, the only other problem you'll have with them is sometimes they can shear a flywheel key, and sometimes the compression releases are an issue on these. They can fail and cause issues, but other than that, they're pretty solid. You can beat on them. Okay, now I'm gonna drain what little bit of gas I put in that gas tank out. I'm gonna get the power washer out and wash all this stuff, and then while that dries in the sun, I'm gonna work on getting this carb off and then getting the new one and the fuel line all situated. And we should have this thing running soon, and then once it's running, I will probably change the oil in it later today. I gotta get some oil, and we should be able to mess around with it a little bit. The deck is free. The spindles aren't locked, but I'm sure they don't sound the greatest. So like I said, I don't think I'm gonna mow with this thing. I think I'm just gonna have some fun with it. So we'll see what happens. All right, all that stuff is cleaned up and carb on. All right, got the old carb off. Took the intake pipe off to clean it up because it was all dirty. Just cleaned up the mating surface for that on the block and ready to stick that back on and put the new carb on. All right, new carb is on. choke works like it should. Everything's free. If you listen very closely when I turn this key, you can hear that thing click. It's pulling the plunger down. Now I'm just gonna get the rest of the piping hooked up and get the gas tank in. We should be ready to try and fire this thing up and then tune the carburetor. Okay, gas tank's all cleaned up and put back in. We got the new fuel line with the shutoff and the new filter. Carburetor's all hooked up and put in. New spark plugs put in. Time to get some gas in this thing and see if we can get it to fire up and tune it a little bit. All right, let's see what it does here. We'll see what happens when we drive it, if I have to tune it up some more. But like I said, that you can see it smoking already. That valve cover has been leaking for quite some time. Let me go get a cover or a plastic bag or something to put over the seat, because I don't want to sit on it. I mean, there's literally plants growing out of it. So we'll get a cover and see if I can get this thing to drive. All right, let's see if this thing is going to drive. Okay, so here I am. I decided to see if the blades worked. It runs good, drives good. It actually mows very well. The only issue I was really having with it was when you disengage the blades, it didn't want to turn off. I'm going to have to get in there and lube the cable up, I think. But I don't think I'm going to pulley swap it now. My mother-in-law needs a mower, so I think I'm going to reseal the valve cover, change the oil, fix the tire that leaks down, and just give it to her. Maybe find a seat for it if I can find one for free or cheap. And I think I'm just going to give it to her. I wasn't expecting it to mow very well. I looked under there. The blades look brand new. They just had surface rust on them. So it's a win-win. I mean, I think I got, the battery was $65. The carburetor was $30. I already had the fuel line. I don't have that much money in it at all, so you can't beat that.